Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. We are going to be going through a 30 minutes morning mobility and stretch flow class. So put on your comfy clothes, aka maybe just stay in your pajamas, grab a cup of coffee or tea, water if you don't like any of the above, and let's get you guys started. You do not need any equipment except a mat, which I have set up behind me, and your body. We're going to start off with a mobility flow that is going to get your joints and muscles and ligaments and all the things moving. And then we are going into some nice static holding stretches. Okay, let's start you guys off with coming to the end of our mat, standing hip width apart, nice and tall, soft knees, sticking our hips behind us, starting to get that stretch through the back of the legs. We will walk ourselves all the way down to the bottom. When you guys get down here, we're going to stop and walk up to the top. When you get up here, we'll reach our arms over our head, over to one side, back to the center, over to the other side, center, and then we'll go back down into our second of 5 of these. So walking down to the bottom, nice strong plank down here, hips up, walking back up to the top, reach, a little bit of a bend, and another side, and then we'll go back down into 3 more of these. We got a crazy piece of bang. I gotta find myself a bobby pin. All right, so we'll go through 5 reps total. I don't know about you guys, but I am freezing. I know it's still pretty warm out, even with all the smoke that we have right now, but it is nice to be in this nice baggy hoodie, sweatpants. Okay, so once you guys are done those, we're going to now come in front of the mat, and or you can just turn around with your feet. We'll step back into a lunge, come all the way down onto our knee, bring our hands onto the floor, open up towards that leg, close by touching the floor again, and then we'll stand up to the top and switch and do the other side. So down onto the knee, hands, both touch the floor. We'll exhale and open, follow that hand up with our eyes, close, and then come up to the top. So we'll go through 10 of these total, 5 per side. Feeling a stretch and opening through our back, mid-back, our chest, hips, maybe the back of your hips, your butt, and we'll go through each side 5 times. Not spending too long there, just trying to go up and into another. Let's get it. And I also figured out why my volume was sounding really whack. So hopefully today's class sounds better and next week's will sound better. I am just going to throw on some background music, which I totally meant to do, but didn't. There we go. All right, so we'll go through those. We'll get some hip hop music on. There we go. All right. So once you guys are done those, again, that is 10 total. We are, okay, that's not gonna work. I tried. We are gonna stand up to the top and get ourselves into a squat stance. So we'll go hip width a little bit wider than hip width apart, toes on that slight angle out to the side. Sitting down as low as we can into a squat. We'll try to get our hands as close to the floor as possible. You might have to grab your shins. You might even only have your hands on your knees, which is fine. We'll straighten the legs, bend the legs, and then reach the arms over our head and stand up to the top. That was 1. We're going to do 5 of those. So again, I'll sit down, straighten, bend, reach, stand up. So a little bit of coordination. Good morning, brain and body. We'll go through 5 of these total. And if you have some sensitive stuff going on in your knees, you're probably going to be up here without sinking so low down into the squat. And of course, I want you guys to get low, so try your best to see if you can get that depth going on. Yes. So we'll go through those. Getting that stretch through the back of the legs. Yes. Okay. So once you have completed that one, cannot talk, we're gonna have a seat down on the floor. Get into our 90 position. What's up, you guys? Welcome, good morning. So we're in here, 90 degrees, both of the knees, trying to sit up as upright as possible without any help from the arms. We'll lock the feet in place and then flip the legs over, doing 10 of these total. If we need to use our arms behind us, that is absolutely okay. But you guys know that eventually we are trying to work our way up to not having our arms behind us. So we'll go through 10 of these total, just back and forth, not spending any time really on each side, just flipping out of it once you get there. Once you're done 10, I want you to come back to the first side that you did. We're gonna stop here and walk our hands over top of the knee, which the inside of the thigh is facing upward. So we'll walk across, you'll get a stretch on the butt cheek on this leg over here. And then we'll come back up to the top, switch, and then we'll walk across and come back up. And now we're going to do this 5 times per side, trying to exhale and see if we can take those steps to get that stretch. As you go through your reps, you can add some steps to travel a little bit further, but it should not be painful. And we're not spending too long there, just a momento of stretch, and then we leave and we do the other side. So we'll go through 10 of these, trying to warm up the hips mostly. Get a little bit of a dynamic stretch through your hips, your butt. Ooh, feels so nice. All right, so once you guys are done, we are going to lay on our back. Oh, yes, we're going down. So we'll lay on our back here, lifting up our legs to the top. You can walk them together, knees and feet. We're going to drop the legs down to one side. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, bring the legs up to the top, and drop them down to the other side. Big breath in, and lift them back up to the top. So we're getting a little bit of work. I mean, you might feel your core working to lift up your legs, but that's not the focus here. The focus is us trying to loosen up our mid back, our lower back. So as you guys go through that rotation, you'll feel this part of your back nice stretchy feeling there. And then we'll go through 5 per side, 10 total. So I really do suggest that you guys focus on your breathing, thinking about that exhale to lift up your legs and send them over to the other side. Once you guys are done, 10 of those total, 5 per side, we're gonna lift up our legs, just give them a quick hug. Pull them in, try to pull our knees into our tummy. Try to relax our back onto the floor. Take some nice deep breaths. You might feel some pressure in your hips. That's okay. We're going to hold this here, and then keeping one leg in our hand, we'll drop the other one down and just pull this one in. And keeping this one in our hand, we'll bring this one back up, switch, and then drop this one down. So we'll do about 3 of these on each side, 2 more, bringing it back up. Not kicking anything in your way. So getting a nice lengthening stretch through the front of our hip and feeling that pressure as we pull in our leg against our tummy. So we'll go through those. Again, 3 per side. Ooh, okay. And then you guys can stand it back up to the top. We're going to go through one more part here to our mobility flow. I have a weird string in these pants and they're not tight. That's okay. I'm so used to wearing yoga pants, even sweatpants, when I'm comfortable. If you wear leggings all the time. All right, so we're gonna get you guys moving here with one more part to our mobility flow before we go into these static holding stretches, the ones where we hold them, stretch out. We'll come back to the end of our mat here, just as we were where we started. Hip width apart in the feet, the soft knees, straight legs, hips go back, getting that stretch. But you should be able to keep your legs a little bit more straight. Get your hands on the floor. We'll walk ourselves down to the bottom. Step in, open. We've been here before. Close, and do that on the other side. Open, and then we can walk back up to the top. And that was 1, and we're going to do 5 like that. So we'll go through our next rep. Same thing, straight legs, down to the plank. Open. Stepping in first, opening, and then doing the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we know the drill with this position. The further you are, the closer you are to your foot, the more mobility it takes. The further, the easier it's going to feel. So if you are not the most mobile person, if you have tight hips, tight lower back, you're not very flexible, you cannot step your foot so close to your hand. But eventually we will work our way to getting that foot closer to our hand. Okay. Yay! All right, you guys. So we'll go through those. 5 total. Don't accidentally do 10. Once you guys are done, you can grab a quick sip of your water, coffee if you join me. We're going to get you guys going here on our static holding stretches. So we're going back down onto the floor. First one is going to be a bow and arrow stretch. That is for our mid-back, our lower back. But there's a lot more than just our back muscles involved here. I'm actually going to, just kind of looking at my screen there, contemplating my life. I'm going to move you guys down because we are going to spend, well, the rest of the class down here. All of our stuff that we're going to be doing is down here. So let's get down here and hang out. We're going to do the bow and arrow. So I'll lay on my side. Lost my train of thought. We're still waking up here. So we'll lay on our side, stack our shoulders, stack our hips, our legs, our arms, everything. We'll take this top leg and weave it underneath the bottom. So taking the foot and I'm placing it underneath the opposite leg. So I'm stacked, leg is down, take a big breath, and then we'll exhale and cross the body. Try to get this hand flat on the floor over here. And then we'll reach up and over our head. And we're here back to the center. And we'll do 3 reps like this, just moving with it, exhaling with it, reaching up and over our head. And we'll do 1 more. Now on this last one, I want you guys to stop right here. And we are going to hang out right here for the next minute. So you guys are going to spend 1 minute holding this stretch. Some of us, this might not be the most comfortable thing in the world. So if you're kind of tight, if you can't get your hand down, maybe your knee is lifted off into the air, I want you to prioritize one of these. So prioritize either your knee or your shoulder. Eventually you will get both those down, okay? But it does take time. It does take mobility, which is why we are doing it. You have to do this in order to get better at it. So if you find you are uncomfortable, like it is painful and it does not feel good, you can make it feel better by taking something, whether you grab a towel, you ball it up, a pillow, something, a cushion, put it underneath your knee, lift up your knee off the floor. The other thing you can do is unweave your legs and just have this leg kind of stacked over like this and not wrapped underneath the bottom one, which makes it typically feel a lot more comfortable if you are not so comfortable here. So we're holding. I want you guys to take 3 more nice deep breaths. So we'll take a big inhale, try to send that air into our tummies, and then we'll exhale and release it all. Try to sink deeper into the stretch. So we'll think about inhaling through our nose and then exhaling through our mouth. And we'll go through 2 more of those. And one more, just holding this stretch. Because it feels so nice. And then you guys can reach up and over your head. And we will do the other side. So because I want to still look at you guys. So I'm going to flip over to this side. Keep in mind that my wall is going to be getting in my way. So I'm going to position a little bit outside the camera. My arms will be cut off, but you guys know because you saw on the other side that this one's just going to stay down. So get into formation. Whatever you did on that first side, we'll do over here. So big breath in. Exhale, cross it over, and then right away we're reaching up and over our head because we're starting off with those two more dynamic reps where we're moving. And then this third one is going to take us into that extended hold. So we'll release that arm down and just breathe into this. So same thing here, whether you had maybe your arm lifted off or your leg was undone or you had something underneath here, do that on this side as well. So we can keep it as even as possible. And we are going to hang out here about 20 more seconds and take about 5 more nice slow deep breaths. And we're stretching our back, our hips, our chest and shoulders in the front. This is one of my favorite stretches because it is a full body situation. You get a lot of bang for your buck in the amount of time that you're holding this for. So we'll take one more deep breath and then we will reach up and over our head until we are back into the center. And then you guys can just lay on your back here for a quick second. I'm going to take 5 deep breaths where we try to expand our ribs, our whole torso area out, down into the floor and up. So we're trying to create space within everything in here. 5 breaths. So same idea. I mean, I like to take my hands and put them on my tummy, so I remind myself to send the air here and not into my chest. We'll breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, and we'll do 5 of them, nice and slow. So every breath, we're trying to expand and make everything in your torso a little bit bigger. So make your rib cage go out to the sides, lift up, but we're also having contact with our back. So once we're done that one, we are going to sit up, come on up here, and we're going to sit into this position, that we have been talking about a little bit more recently. So some of us sitting up like this is not going to be anywhere near comfortable. You might feel, I'm just going to turn so you guys can see what's happening. You might feel that you're kind of like rounded over like this. And if that's the case, something that you can do right off the bat is widening up your legs. Now, obviously, I don't want you guys like doing the splits or anything like that, but the wider your legs are, the easier it's going to be to maintain this positioning with your hips and pelvis, and we won't be like rounded under like this. If I have my feet like this, it's going to be a lot harder to sit upright without bending my knees. And I want you guys to have straight legs here because we're trying to focus this stretch on the back of our legs, our hamstrings, as well as a little bit in our inner thighs. So what we're going to do is take our hands here. We've used this as like an assessment before. We've used this as a stretch before. So what we're doing today, we're just going to be stretching out our back of our legs first and then our lower back second. So because we want to focus the back of the legs, we need you sitting up so nice and tall, perfect posture, not only through your shoulders, but also through your hips. So rather than having the pelvis tilted under like this, we want to tilt the pelvis forward. So we're, I guess, slightly arching our back, which is going to make you feel the stretch in the back of the legs so much more than if you weren't doing that with your pelvis and with your back. So we're going to hold this here, walking our hands forward as far as we can to maintain that positioning. So as soon as I start to round, that's the lower back, which we're not doing yet. So we'll keep the back straight. And then we'll just stop when we feel like that rounding wants to happen. And there should be a really big stretch happening on the back of your legs. And we're gonna hold this here and just breathe into it for about 20 seconds. So we're trying to keep the toes pointed up rather than away. So flex them up towards your face, which is also going to increase the amount of stretch that you feel. So if you want a little bit more, or just from sitting here, it will improve. And you can make it go a little deeper by flexing your foot up. Now, because we're going to hold this for about just 10 more seconds. I know it was a little longer than 20. I have my running clock in the background that I messed up on the map, okay? Okay, so now we'll release that. So just come back to the top here. And then what we're going to do now is just kind of relax our hips a little bit. You don't have to keep them in such an upright position. And then we'll walk our hands forward, trying to round our back. So you guys can see my back is bending and then my shoulders are coming forward. And I still feel the stretch in the back of my legs, but I'm also starting to feel a really big stretch through my lower back. And we're gonna hold this here where it's not painful on either the hamstrings or the lower back. And we're gonna hold this. So 30 seconds in this position. You can tuck your chin in to help send that stretch up to your upper spine, upper back, which you'll feel. And then we will slowly walk our hands out of that one. Ooh, we'll go back. Get ourselves onto our hands and knees. And I'm going to face this way. So you guys can see what's going on. My shoulders are stacked over my wrists. My hips are stacked over my knees. I'm going to take my one leg and stick it out. And then I'm going to take my back and round it up. So I'm trying to lift my spine up to the ceiling. We're going to rock our hips back until we start to feel a nice big stretch through our inner thigh here. And we're going to hold this right here for about 30 seconds. So I'm in that big rounded position here. So we'll spend 10 seconds rounded. Now I want you guys to just relax that round, but stay in the same position that you are with your legs. So don't move forward or back, but just relax your back so it's not rounding up like it was. Holding. Maybe one more deep breath. And then we're going to arch our back. So now I'm going to just turn again so you guys can see. Arch the back. And we're going to hold this here for the last 10 seconds. So we'll slowly come out of that one. And you guys can switch sides now. Do, 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 do. And we'll do the other side. Same thing. So round up. Rock back until you feel the stretch and hold 10 seconds. We'll relax the back. Neutral, nice straight back. 10 seconds. Breathing into this inner thigh stretch, and then now last one, we will arch the back. So trying to pull our tummy down to the floor. And so by doing that positioning with your back, we're also moving your pelvis just as we did in that hamstring stretch, which is giving you different angles of stretch on your inner thigh, through the back of the leg, but mostly, you guys can relax out of that one, your inner thighs should be really feeling that stretch. So we got two more that we are going to go through. The hip flexor stretch. You guys think you were going to get away without this hip flexor stretch? This is one of the most important stretches to stretch out the hip flexors in the front. So we'll take this half kneeling position. You guys can pelvic tilt under, so rock that pelvis under. If you need a bit more support for your knee, especially because we're just doing that kneeling stuff, you can grab a towel or double up your mat. We are going to hold this stretch on this side here for 60 seconds. 60, 60. One more stretch after this, and then we are complete. And hopefully you guys are feeling looser and better and ready to conquer your day. So what we're going to do, most of us should be feeling this stretch with that pelvic tilt. If you want to feel it more, you can activate your butt on the side, squeeze your glutes, bringing it together. Last thing that you can do is take this arm and reach it up and over your head. And again, you guys will note, I forgot to mention, I am holding onto the wall, so I don't have to worry about balance, which is something that I would suggest you do, because that's not our focus here, balance. Our focus here is stretching, and stretching in an unstable environment when you're trying to balance is not safe, because when your muscles are being stretched and lengthened, they don't want to just have to suddenly stop to catch you from balancing. So hold on to something. All right, so one more deep breath. We have about 5 seconds left here, and then we will switch sides. You guys can switchy switch. We'll do the other side here. Again, the pelvic tilt, holding the same thing that we did on the first side over here. This is us for 1 minute. So whether you were squeezing your butt or just working with the tilt, maybe you did incorporate that arm reaching over your head. My arm's just straighten up above here. It's going to cut off. We're going to do that over here and hang out here for about 30 more seconds. So it should not be painful. You might find one side might be a little tighter, a little looser than the other, but it should just feel like tension without pain. Hopefully. There you go. So 15 more seconds. We'll just breathe into this stretch. As you sit here and hold it, you might feel like you can start to make it a little deeper, start to squeeze your butt harder, and reach that arm over if you never did before. But again, we need to keep it even on both sides. So we will relax out of this one. Ooh, okay. So last stretch that we are going to do is your guys' glute stretch. I'm going to give you options for this one because for some of us, it just feels more comfortable and just works better and is safer to do one of these over the other. So I'll show you guys the safer, more comfortable one first. If you have pre-existing knee stuff going on, this might be a better option for you than the second one I'm going to show you. But feel free to try both or do both. And if it hurts, then try the other one. We're going to stretch our butt out. Yes, especially after that leg day on Friday, if you guys were here. So this glute stretch, you can hold, pull in, and hold here. A couple ways I like to do this is positioning myself up against a wall like this. So this is a nice way, so you don't have to think about pulling in your leg like that, and you can just focus on holding this stretch. So you can get into this one here. We're going to hang out for a minute on the first side. If you want to try this one, this is going to stretch the same muscles, your butt. As you guys can see, I'm putting myself into quite a big knee bend, and then I'm kind of leaning my weight over it. So if someone has some stuff going on there, this is not going to be the best option and or the most comfortable option. So that's why I showed you guys that one first, so that you can do that one, and just, you're pain free, because that's what we want. That is the goal. But this one, it does feel nice, and the nice thing about it is that gravity in your body kind of does the stretching for you. You can even sink down to your forearms and just kind of relax into the stretch. I mean, you can with the wall as well, but I like this one a lot. It feels very comfortable. And so let's try it. And we'll hold this here for the next 20 seconds, because that's how much time you guys have left on this side. And then we'll switch sides. So you can play around with whether your hands are like this or you're on your forearms. I feel this a lot more, to stretch a lot more than I do down here. But this feels nice because I can kind of just relax and relax my head and just breathe into it. So whatever you want to do there. What we're going to do now is switch sides. So you guys can switch and do the other side of the same stretch that you did on the first side. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Does not matter. And you will hold this here, stretching it out. So whether you went down into your forearms, stayed up into your hands, and we will hold this. So we're breathing into this stretch. Yes. Following that same technique, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. That's going to help your body calm down, help you get some nice oxygen into your brain, breathing through your nose. So try to focus on it this last 10 seconds that we have here. Holding this. Once you guys are done here, which is in 5 seconds, 3, 2, time. You can come out of that one. Oh, good job, you guys. So if you would like, you can sit yourself into either cross-legged, this way, you can stand up, kneel, whatever you want to do. You guys are done with me. Thank you so much for tuning in to this morning mobility flow stretch class. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a comment that I know you did so that we can do this more often. If you would like to do a couple more sets of any of those stretches or any additional stretches, maybe something for your upper body, now is the perfect time to do it because we're nice and warm. We've already warmed up all our body, all of our joints with that nice flow that we did. So I'm not saying that you have to, but I am saying that it would be a good time if you do have stuff that you want to work on and or improve in terms of your stretching, okay? Thank you guys so much. We will be here next week for a whole new week of training. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon, aka on Monday. Bye, you guys.